Thank you for joining us. We're back with Courtney Weaks, a Metro Court candidate, and we're talking about the DWI thing, all the different. What are the I know you talked about the different divisions. I always understood there was like different within the branches, within the divisions. There's all subdivisions there as far as the Metro Court, like Native American and I think Indigenous. Is it all same court or is it?
No, it's all, so everybody is assigned a criminal docket. So Division 4, I would have a docket just like any other division where I hear DV, DWI, and then any other type of misdemeanor charge, including traffic citations. And then there are, I think what you're referring to is there are a lot of specialty courts in Metropolitan Court.
That was a proper frame.
So, for example, there's drug court, which is, I had talked about, it's in district court as well, but that's mainly for repeat offender DWIs. And that's a very, very intense program that...
and then the drug court's separate or same?
So there's specific judges in Metropolitan Court that hear the drug court docket. And it's actually, and then there's specialized probation officers that work in that program too. And then there's mental health court.
And homeless court?
And there's a homeless court.
Well, how does that work? What do they do there?
They really, it's targeted, so like mental health court, it's really targeted on, allowing people to work on, because in Metro Court, for example, homeless court's targeting people, there's people that have been, if you look at their records, they've been arrested dozens and dozens of times, and a lot of them are, criminal trespass, drinking in public, and it's the homeless population who is getting arrested on a regular basis. So the goal of these programs is really to give people an opportunity to rehabilitate and help them find them housing, work on those resources that are available within our community to help them in their life situation. And mental health. What
do they do in the homeless court? I'm just curious. There's a curiosity there. I get that question sometimes from individuals because we see so many homeless. There's a huge problem there. I know Mayor Barry worked on it and tried to get them off the street and stuff. I know there's a court dealing specifically to their needs, or is it like kind of directing them, or is it dealing with them?
It's specifically directed towards them in terms of working with their needs and getting them. It's specialized probation officers that are working with them to find housing and to use resources so they can. I mean, that's obviously, like I was explaining, the root cause. If you're considering that the root cause of their crime is just for nothing but the fact that they're homeless.
Correct, yeah.
Because of things like criminal trespass. They're getting arrested for sleeping on porches, drinking in parks. So I think that that's what it's geared to, is utilizing our community and the resources that we have available within our community to help find them housing, jobs. And mental health court is geared towards the same thing. Again, it's specialized probation officers where they're working with people. And then also both of these programs, the goal of them is to also in certain situations, have the charges dismissed at the end of the completion of the program. So you're being rewarded for taking responsibility and moving forward in life. But again, mental health court has specialized probation officers that it's actually a requirement of mental health court that you take medication and you see a doctor. A lot of those people, they work with getting them on things like Social Security, disability income, find them adequate housing, work with them to make sure that if they're in an unsafe environment that they can maybe find a new safer place to go. And
are they always represented?
They do have representation.
They have counsel every time they go in?
Every single time they go in.
They have to with their public...
Most of those cases are indigent clients working with the public defender department.
Now, how do you classify, I mean, it's a curiosity, it's just a question, as far as mental health goes, you're looking at an attorney that's defending them. Are they defending them, or are they representing them? How does that work when they're hired by this, when they're appointed by the state?
They're absolutely, so a public defender does everything that a regular defense attorney does. We're tasked with the exact same job in terms of protecting those individuals. And I think, the prosecutor, the DA, and the judge all kind of work as in and of itself like a checks and balances system within the criminal justice system. And so public defenders are charged with the exact same task. They're defense attorneys just like any other defense attorney in that courthouse.
And I think my question was, and I wanted to rephrase it, that since the person is not incapable, so how are they allowed to have an attorney that without their consciousness there? Because some of them are not even aware that they're having issues there, and then they're on medication and things like that.
Right.
How does that? So how do you feel about that? Do you feel that that's something we
Those
need to
people, I
reform?
think, are absolutely, I think that they need representation and
Have you ever
protection.
defended or worked with-
Absolutely. I've worked with a lot of people with mental health issues when I was doing the contract with the Public Defender Department.
Is that difficult to work with? Is that
You know
difficult
what?
to work with?
I've actually found it very rewarding. You know, and I think working with those type of people, it really ties you into the community as a whole, and I think it grounds you and it gives you a much better and broader picture of our community as a whole and kind of the issues that we're working on and what we need to work on. But specifically,
they're not difficult to work with because there is an element there of there's a factor there of them not being there 100%.
Right, and I think, you know,
medication and things like that.
and my job at that point is to empathize with those individuals. And at some point, if you really, so there's another aspect where that goes beyond mental health court, where if you really cannot understand why you're even committing the crime, then you go through, your defense attorney will raise what's called competency. And then you're evaluated by an actual forensic psychologist who will evaluate whether or not you're able to assist your attorney in your defense. And then if not, at the Metro Court level, your case, you actually go through competency court, which is a separate Metro Court judge that runs that docket. And then the state will dismiss the case if they're found incompetent because they can't, you know, sit next to me at a bench and talk to me about their case.
At that point.
Right, absolutely.
So they have to be dealt with. I think I used to wonder how that worked, the mechanisms of it. If someone is not sure,
right,
you know, why they're there, then how is it that we either defend them or prosecute them?
Right.
At that point. And I think the system is set up so they are protected in some way.
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
you have to protect them. They're human beings.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think they're guided by an attorney. But many, like you were saying that you can't even sit next to them at some point, right?
At some point, they're not going to be able to, and what they can't do is
they're not cognitive.
The standard is if they can assist you in their defense. So they can't, if I say, hey, do you remember, you know, this is the factual defense, because I don't think they can prove you did this element of the crime, they can't engage in a conversation like that, which is necessary in order for you to be represented by a defense attorney.
You have to be able to answer some basic questions.
Right, absolutely, and have an understanding of why you did something wrong, and you know, understand things like, well, this is the risk if you go to jury trial. This is the benefits of this plea. These are the types of motions I'm going to file, potentially to have your case dismissed. I mean, you have to be able to, your client has to be able to understand what you're doing on their behalf and assist you with that.
But I'm sure it moves you in some ways, right? Dealing with individuals like that.
Absolutely.
Where you know they're not capable of even.
Absolutely. You know, I really do. You know, obviously not just clients that have been found incompetent, but you know, working with the contract of the public defenders, it's you know, there's a lot of people who spend a lot of time in custody while they're going through this forensic evaluation process. So those are the type of people who absolutely need our protection and the system's protection and protection from attorneys the most.
Exactly. It's interesting. Well, anyways, we're almost out of time here, but we're thankful for you to come onto the show, and we'll wish you the best.
Thank you very much. I can't tell you, it was a huge pleasure being here.
Thank you. You did a great job. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That's it. Okay, that's it. We're out of time. We'll see you next time. Thanks.